Mikey B, the season has started. We're about a week in, and I'm continuing the season reviews. I need to get this done, I know, because once it gets to 10 games, I'm in trouble. But here we are. Cleveland Cavaliers on the east side. Just to preview, they are 1-1, 1 win, 1 loss, and no one expects anything out of this team. But I want to get to the Mutants real quick. I can tell you the expectations and the surprises that we may see. It's not cheating till 10 games because we really don't know what's happening. The X's, the potential X-Men that'll give you 20 points per game, or 10 rebounds, double figures. For Cleveland, the expectation is for Kevin Love to continue to try to be successful for this team. Kevin Love will come in as the, for sure, go-to guy for the Cleveland Cavaliers this year at 6'8", 250. He's a champion. He's a guy that may be, when it comes along, in big trade conversations. But as for now, he is the leader of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Expectation for him, they maybe have one of his biggest point percentage years, 22, 23 points per game, 8 or 9 rebounds per game. He has developed the full repertoire from three-point range. It is going to be scary to see Kevin Love showcase that UCLA. Hey, I remember he was a Bruin, yep. Showcase that Minnesota. If you don't remember Kevin Love in Minnesota, you don't remember Kevin Love. And really show us what he's made of and maybe make that push for a trade to be in a championship situation. Hey, maybe Boston. Jaylen Brown, Boston. Hey, I threw it out there. Hey, that'll make them better. Let's go through it next. Who's the next X-Men? They're too young. And they're not Trae Young or Doncic. So I can't put anyone else in the X-Men range. When I look at this team, there's a couple players that stick out to me. Obviously, Colin Sexton is one of those. A strong guard. To me, I think he is definitely a poor man's starter. I like him more as a bench player. However, he's proven me wrong. I just feel as though Colin Sexton, even with his big numbers, I think the big numbers are because of opportunity. There's no one else to get the ball to. No one else to give the ball. So you got to go to Sexton, right? You got to. But he's proven to be a scorer in this league at every level. He's definitely that. He has a very quick step. He's a strong guard. He's long-armed. If there's anyone that's the next mutant on this team, it's going to have to be Colin Sexton. Interesting to see what we'll get from him this year. He'll have a full opportunity to show himself green and possibly make a push for an MIP player. As the Cleveland Cavaliers, even though they look like they're headed to the lottery, it's the east side, and there's no telling what could happen next. Next up, Kevin Porter. No, I'm not going there. Darius Garland, okay? Darius Garland, for me, the guy that they drafted, the expectation is for him to be the next superstar of this team. Yes, the expectation is at Kyrie Irving type levels. Can Darius Garland recover from the ACL? Remember, he's recovering from that. I expect him to be full Darius Garland, maybe in March, maybe. But he's showing very well right now in the season. Preseason looked okay. Shows the shot, showing the same repertoire that had me calling him possibly the best pick in the draft. That was over Ja Morant, and that was also over Kobe White, who I think is a guard and not a true point guard. So Darius Garland comes in with high expectations. Him and Sexton lead the push as my secondary picks or secondary string for the Mutants. They're going to have to drop a lot of points. I think Darius can possibly contribute 12 to 13 points right now as we get early in the season. Towards the latter part of the season, could drop 18, 19 per game. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. If he gets it earlier, that's fine. But definitely a star prospect. If he remains healthy, he's something special. Now, as we flow through this team, what else do they have? They have a lot of pieces. They don't look too bad on paper. I mean, they're going to be competitive, okay? And that's the least you can ask because you have fans paying for tickets. There's a couple other players here. Obviously, I'm going to continue with the rookies because they're the most intriguing to me. Kevin Porter Jr. comes in, a guy that was drafted not where he thought he would go. Expectations, he thought probably I should be a lottery pick. Things didn't end up that way. Kevin Porter Jr. ended up falling to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he wants to prove a lot of naysayers wrong, okay? When I look at Kevin Porter, there's not a lot of people that remind me of him because he's a combination of many. But he definitely swings me much more handle, I would say, than J.R. Smith. Not as athletic leaping ability-wise as J.R. Smith. Is ambidextrous as J.R. Smith as far as getting to the lane, but has a little bit of the DeJounte Murray, Jamal Crawford, Washington handle that we're familiar with. They have the swing handle. That's how I like to dribble. Back and forth, swing ya, crossover. I love that kind of handle because they can really get anywhere they want on the court, and that's the number one key factor for me in a player when you're able to just go, I'm going right, you can't stop me, and they really can't stop you. What could he potentially be? I think Colin Sexton will move to a six-man role, and I think at some point in time over the course of these guys' career, if they're able to stay together, if Colin Sexton is able to take that role, he's better suited for me off the bench, move Garland to the two-guard position, Garland at the one, and then try to find that superstar small forward to help with the team, and there's certainly a lot of those coming out in the high school ranks. So I like the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's my trajectory. Let's see who else they added. Larry Nance Jr. is an interesting prospect, power forward, a guy that was truly successful on Cleveland and improved himself over the years. I really love this pick. I mean, I think that Larry Nance Jr., and he's listed, I don't think he's 6'7". I think he's 6'10". I think that's a wrong list there. I think he could also be in the running for potential trade talks for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Somebody's going to go get him. I think he's the opportunity to really help a team on the rebounding end. And there's certainly a lot of teams, even the Rockets, teams like that could use a Larry Nance Jr. for a playoff push. On this team, he will get minutes. He can average between 9 and 8 rebounds a game, 9 points, 8 rebounds a game, somewhere in that ladder. But he's improved his three-point shot. So to me, he's starting to get into that Channing Frye, if you remember him, with much more athleticism. I think Larry Nance can surprise a lot of people this year. Cleveland can also. He is the it factor. If he's able to go, Cleveland may have their trust the process plans go to the toilet and possibly be on a playoff hunt and not get the lottery pick that they so need to continue to build up the strong core that they could have, okay? Now, Cedric Osman comes in, solid contributor. He's developed himself. He had the minutes last year, has not really shown that he's a starter, maybe a poor man starter, maybe a help starter if LeBron James there. But I love him, keep him. He can fulfill the bench role, help out there. Three-point shot, good defensive-minded, small forward. Really like Cedric Osman. Kudos to him for his improvements. I just don't think he's a starter. They grabbed Alfred McKinney from Golden State Warriors. That was an interesting play for this team, all right? Alfred McKinney, a vet, has been with a championship team. There is an opportunity for him here with Cleveland to try to show himself as something more. He wasn't getting the minutes with Golden State. Will he show himself now with the Cleveland Cavaliers with the minutes? Okay, next up, Tristan Thompson's there. Another guy, another vet that truly everyone's going to go through. He could potentially average 14 and 10. I talked about mutants. He wasn't up there because, again, I never looked at him as a scorer. But with enough balls to go around, anyone can average double digits in this league. They are obviously professionals from the college ranks and superstars from the college ranks or from Canada or Europe, wherever they came from. So I think there's no doubt he could average 14 and 10 this year. But there should be a lot of teams vying for his services, teams that need big men. He's here. I mean, this is an upgrade that you have to look at. I like what I saw out of Brooklyn, but I don't really know who plays that power forward. I can't get in my mind who's there on Brooklyn. Would they potentially take an opportunity for themselves to potentially go out and grab a Tristan Thompson type of player? I don't know, but he's out there. All right, next one. They drafted Dylan Windler, three-point shooting guard. Don't know much of him. looks to me like a Nick Stauskas with a better three-point shot, even though that's hard to say. So let's see how he turns out. Could forge himself a career with Cleveland. He has the opportunity. Ante Zizic, big center out of Europe, another one of these Euro centers. I can't talk bad about him anymore. If you got an IE, IC at the end of your name, or one of those IS, Ingus, Bingus, Dingus, Ringus, Lingus, any of those things, I got to respect your game. I got to respect your power. So I got to say, interesting to see what we'll get out of this guy, Mr. Ante Zizic, okay? Next up is Dean Wade. Dean Wade, big forward center, 6'9", 6'10". Again, good opportunity for him to play. He is another guy that has come in and is going to get an opportunity to play on this team. It's going to be interesting to see what we get from him at the center forward position, if he's going to get any minutes. I'm not sure. They're kind of heavy in that position. I don't know if we'll get too much from Mr. Dean Wade this year. Don't know too much about him, so I can't talk about him, but we shall see. In all, we got the full summary of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Oh, I forgot about John Henson. How dare I? So here we go again, my big mouth. I forgot about two guys who are probably going to average those. Brandon Knight. I'm sorry. So I should go back and re-record this. Brandon Knight will be the second mutant on this team, okay? Even though he shouldn't be, all right? They should be developing. But Brandon Knight can average 20 points a night. He's proven it in the NBA. He has an opportunity here to show himself. We shall see what we get out of Brandon Knight. John Henson, again, a defensive. He's going to get the minutes. Tall, long, gets anywhere where he wants on the court. Again, another opportunity for him to really placate himself or show himself as a starter in this league. John Henson gets a second opportunity here. Things didn't work out as expected with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, up top, we can't forget about Jordan Clarkson, another guy that should be coming to some trade operations. Jordan Clarkson, hey, you're awesome, but I don't think Cleveland needs you, and I don't think you want to be in Cleveland right now. Somebody needs to grab Jordan as a potential scoring guard. With the loss of Gerald Green, I know they're kind of heavy in this role already. Will the Rockets go out and chase a Jordan Clarkson to try to replace Gerald Green? He's one that could potentially do that and also give you more handles. At 6'4", 194, he's not the 6'8" type of player, but no offense, Gerald Green is not one of these great defensive players anyway. So I think that Jordan Clarkson will have an opportunity here with the Cleveland Cavaliers to show himself for a potential trade. Another guy that can average 18 to 20. So Clarkson, Knight, Thompson, Love, pretty strong actually, pretty strong looking team. Now, Matthew Dellavedova, hey, defensive maniac. He's on for veteran leadership. Then they got Tyler Cook, who I'm not too familiar with. I don't think he'll get much burn on this team. But again, I don't know too much about him, so I can't talk bad. In all expectation, Cleveland, I don't think they'll make the playoffs. And if I were Cleveland, I wouldn't try to make the playoffs. I would try to rebuild through the draft. They have a lot of talent that will be used as trade bait, and they can potentially get draft picks. And I think that should be their focus this year. Season preview, third to, I don't know what to say. Third to last team in the NBA. That's where I should see them at. But they have enough talent to prove me wrong and potentially make a playoff swing. So remember you heard it here first. If they're able to keep everyone intact, they potentially could start a playoff run just because the East is so weak. So we shall see what happens. All 4 Sports Cleveland Cavaliers review. Peace.